Hello and welcome to our talk show Rubaroo. I am Neha Chauhan and today we are having a conversation with such a versatile personality. I'm talking about none other than Professor Karthik Ramesh sir. He is the CEO of Middle East TABHI and the Group Chief Growth Officer. We welcome you sir.
Thank you, Neha.
So if I start with my first question, so that is let's talk about TABHI, the world's leading AI travel based company. So what is it all about? I wanted to know more about it very briefly.
Absolutely. So, TABHI is the world's largest business to business travel marketplace, which does multi billion dollar sales. In fact, we are the world's number one when it comes to promoting enterprise travel
Hmm.
using artificial intelligence. You can almost say that our founder, chairman Prasad Gundumogla, who resides in Texas, Austin, was the one who first brought artificial intelligence into the B2B travel marketplace area.
Hmm.
So today you will not find TABHI listed as other B2C portals such as Make My Trip or Booking, but we are used by enterprises, by
Hmm.
travel agencies, we are used by corporates
Like
like
big
yourselves, big
organizations. Hmm.
organizations. The best part is we are not only focused on travel, but in an age driven by influencers and creators, we also create travel experiences.
Hmm.
So TABHI is a group company which has under it ABHI, it's pronounced as ABHEE,
Hmm.
which is into creating hyper localized experiences. For
Okay.
example, I'm in Noida.
Hmm.
I grew up in Delhi, I was born in Delhi, and I always remember all the chart items, the kachoris, and all of that, right? So imagine if I'm a tourist coming here to Delhi for the first time,
Hmm.
Abhi will give me hyper local experiences.
Oh.
And will tell me where I should go for shopping, for example, Karulbagh. Depending on how long I'm transiting in Delhi as a metro, it will give me options to customize using artificial intelligence again,
Hmm.
how the traveler's journey can be enabled using AI for experiences. We also have a corporate platform which is called Mirai, Miraee.
Hmm.
So Mirai is to make the employees' productivity and time savings in terms of planning his itinerary. Now, anybody who goes on a business trip is also
Hmm.
trying to integrate some amount of leisure or some travel entertainment in terms of visiting local sightseeing
Right.
or meeting friends or going to some places to eat
Hmm.
and to sightsee. So Mirai integrates some of the corporate travel experiences with whatever other schedules one may have, not just from a personal standpoint, but more from a corporate standpoint.
Hmm.
We talk about MICE, right? You talk about meetings and events and all of that. So Mirai enables planning for such events. Like I live in Dubai, we done some of the largest as a country events, right? Recently we concluded something called GITEX, which is the largest IT exhibition. So somebody coming to Dubai for GITEX,
Hmm.
Mirai will allow you to plan your corporate travel efficiently. The best part, Neha, is it's almost as if Neha has her own corporate travel executive assistant. You
Wow.
don't need to talk to your travel agent. You talk to your app, which is Mirai. Mirai enables executive assistant like features where you're able to use AI to integrate seamlessly whatever your travel requirements are with your business trip, business priority. So this group company TABI is actually the core platform for travel planning is Mondi.
Hmm.
I know we have very interesting names, right? Mondi, TABI, Abibera. It
Hmm.
sounds very trendy and
Right.
so Mondi is the world's largest B2B travel marketplace, the original one which I called. So Tabby was the rechristening of Mondi as Tabby as
Hmm.
a group company because so many products came. But Mondi is the world's number one B2B travel marketplace. We were also Nasdaq listed by Prasad Gundumogla, and his vision was to move Tabby away from just being seen as a travel entity or a travel company towards diversifying to other areas such as healthcare, creators economy. So we have a lot of things ahead in our roadmap, which we will talk about more.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I just talked about AI that you mentioned
Yes.
about the artificial intelligence, and this is the trend. The current
Yep.
trend is AI. We all know
Yes.
about
Yep.
it. But sometimes, whenever we hear about this word, we have that threat in our mind.
Yeah.
Will AI? Will we all over depend on that
Yes.
AI? Will AI do our work? Will they get our jobs and all? This kind of like more controversies and all.
Yes.
So, being an expert in something, something you have worked with this. So, do you think what type of prevent we should measure about? Anything that you want to say?
Absolutely. So I always quote this that Harvard Business Review talks about AI as being augmented intelligence,
Hmm.
right? It's not just artificial intelligence. Recently, I'm part of Harvard Business Review's advisory group in Middle East. Recently, there were some articles which came for our review, which spoke about authenticity in intelligence. Now look at this podcast.
Hmm.
Look at some of the questions you're asking,
Right.
right? You come from a background of media communications where authenticity is very important,
Right.
right?
And creativity
Yeah.
too. Right.
Fortunately, there's no robo, there's no drone, or there's no AI, physically here in this conversation.
Hmm.
Just two human beings having a good conversation.
Right.
So AI, in my perspective, will never really completely replace human beings. It is there to complement them. It is there to make it more authentic, and that is why I said it is augmented by a human. So what precedes artificial intelligence, Neha, is the human creativity, the human innovation, the
The
human
human
potential.
touch. Yeah.
Yes, the human touch. So when I worked with a large bank many years back as a global head of innovation, AI has been around, like, when I was with this bank almost 5-6 years back,
Hmm.
we were always looking at integrating AI into a banking scenario. When I worked with private equity backed healthcare firm recently, we were trying to integrate AI into digital front doors in hospitals. Even in the current company, TABHI and its associated group companies, we are looking at AI invading and integrating with every part of our life, right? But that integration is not to be seen as an invasion. It is something which is going to seamlessly make our life
Hmm.
more easier, simpler, faster, and actually give more time for human experiences, right?
Hmm.
Because if today ChatGPT can help me automate my day-to-day tasks, right? I could even, while we're having a unplanned and an impromptu conversation, which I love,
Right.
we could also have designed this whole conversation using ChatGPT,
Exactly.
but that would not have been so authentic or so creative versus us having an ad hoc. These are some of the things which AI cannot do.
Hmm.
In a recent interview, Mr. N. Chandra from Tata Sons, I attended a public event where he was giving a speech. He said, AI can still not dream. AI cannot imagine. Conversational AI has been around for some time. LLMs, large language models, which write or trigger all of this chat GPT. There is a concept called hallucination,
Hmm.
where AI actually is not imagining, but it is hallucinating. The problem with hallucination, even at a human level, you and I as humans can hallucinate certain fears.
Hmm.
So it's not that AI is having a fear, but when not programmed or used properly or configured properly, AI also, which is hugely automated today, tends to hallucinate. So
Hmm.
there are several. What I'm trying to draw the attention of the viewers and you, Neha, is that AI has certain limitations.
Hmm.
The human potential is infinite. The human mind is today. Even you look at it from a biological standpoint of the human brain. I'm an alumnus of the Indian Institute of Science. We have the Center of Brain Research there, right? We are not even using 10% of our human brain.
Hmm.
The vast potential of human intelligence is something which AI would require maybe, several gigabits and years of programming to reach. So all this stigma, this fear, which I keep hearing wherever I go,
Hmm.
will AI take over, will AI take over, is more of a fad. It's more of a imagination. It is actually our hallucination that
Hmm.
AI is going to take over, right? We should look at AI as a companion, as a friend,
More like a tool.
more like a tool, more like
Hmm.
an enabler, more like what we talk as an avatar also, right?
Hmm.
Something which can simplify, which can integrate seamlessly and help us create more time for ourselves. Yeah.
Right. You have mentioned about the healthcare.
Yeah.
So we have also seen about the AI model of healthcare. So do you think using AI could make the lives better, and we could save lives through AI?
Yes.
So is it possible? Is it possible in the future? And we can do more about. We can see it nowadays in India. We have seen about the heart attacks that people are going through
Yes.
because of workouts, or maybe they
Yes.
are not moving their body according to
Yes.
that. After 30, they are high risk of getting a
Correct.
heart attack, right? So do you think through AI, through a personal
Yes.
robot, that they can actually get healthy and be safe?
Yeah. That's a fantastic question. You're
Hmm.
sounding more like an AI expert, I should say. But AI today, and as I said, has been around since my bachelor days in computer science in the early 2000s. We used to talk about AI in healthcare around 20 years back as
Hmm.
expert systems and what we called CBR or case based reasoning systems. Even 20 years back, Neha, I remember we could program computers using AI to ask it questions in a diagnostic form, in a conversational form.
Hmm.
This is much before the age of chatbots, WhatsApp, where there is a chat-like interface. You
Hmm.
ask something, you get a response. Even back in those days,
Hmm.
you could ask complex questions to expert systems, case-based reasoning. But what was fueling this knowledge base was actually an expert doctor's knowledge. So
Okay.
let me give you an example. You
Hmm.
spoke about cardiac care.
Hmm.
The last one of the last interviews I've given here on the podcast was on robotic cardiac surgery.
Hmm.
Today, In fact, in Delhi, we have a made in India robotic cardiac surgery unit, which
Yeah,
is
we must
called,
have heard
yeah,
about it.
you heard about SSI Mantra.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I'm lucky to be involved with a couple of NGOs and non-profit hospitals in Bangalore, especially the Sri Madhusudan Science Institute of Medical Science and Research, where very soon this week, most likely we're going to see some of the country's heads inaugurate a totally free hospital doing robotic cardiac surgery. So, to your question, does AI help? It is becoming a reality, not just
Hmm.
in private hospitals, but even in charitable free hospitals. Now, moving ahead, AI for diagnosis of, let's say, conditions like depression,
Right.
right? A lot of people feel lonely, a lot of people feel alone. Imagine if I could have an avatar based system which makes me feel closer to
Hmm.
myself.
I mean, which makes me feel like I've heard, like
I'm heard,
someone is there,
yes,
they can help see something that I
absolutely.
feel. Right.
And I'm wanted, I'm cared for, more
Hmm.
importantly. More than younger population today, you'll be surprised, Neha, that a lot of old people who are actually above 60, because today's modern life, nuclear families, typically people tend to migrate after their education
Hmm.
also, right? It's not about India brain drain, but it's about a world phenomenon. In the US, for example, there are robots in elderly care homes. We call it geriatric care, where robots constantly monitor people who are above 70.
Hmm.
So the risk of you falling and getting hurt can be monitored using a robot, using
Wow.
robotic eyes. And as soon as a person falls down, emergency line can be called, and then ambulance can rush to the space. The other side of using AI is also on mobile apps. Like our own company has launched, process of launching rather, an app called Pranik.ai.
Hmm.
This is Pranik, not the
Hmm.
pranic healing, Pranik.ai, where we integrate AI triaging, AI diagnostics, AI doctors, avatar based doctors. Our goal through Pranik and our founder Prasad Gundumogla and the CEO Praveen, who's implementing this vision to reality, is to democratize healthcare, to make it affordable, accessible, and available. What do I
Right.
mean by this? If you go to, let us say, remote parts in and around Delhi, right? You go to Mathura, you go further down away,
Hmm.
Rishikesh, and you don't have access always to quality healthcare or doctors
Hmm.
who would meet your expectations. Using such mobile apps where there are avatar based, AI based doctors, I could be even in Timbuktu and I could consult the doctor of my choice who gives me instant solutions. And sometimes
Hmm.
apps which are there today restrict the timings of the doctors. What if there is always an avatar based, AI based doctor at my beck and call on the convenience of my phone,
Right.
whom I can call anytime? So all of these show that be it mobile apps, be it robotic applications, surgical applications. I am an expert of AI who is not from an MBBS background, but I've trained more than 10,000 surgeons on the
Hmm.
use of AI, not just in heart, but in knee surgery and various parts of the body, right? You'll be surprised today. My mother recently underwent a robotic knee surgery. The recovery which happens
Hmm.
in a robotic surgery is far less time it takes than a person who's done a normal surgery.
Oh.
Now, me ask, what is the reason?
Hmm.
It's not the robot's intelligence which is coming here,
Hmm.
but the robot's precision. Let's say I'm doing a robotic knee
Hmm.
surgery. The incision which I make here sometimes may go and damage neighboring tissue, nerves, and muscles.
Exactly.
But a robot, when programmed for a surgery,
Hmm.
even for the heart, you can precisely tell it where it has to move.
Hmm. Right, and
And
they have that perfect knowledge about
perfect
even a single
knowledge,
strand of nerve.
yes,
Right.
safety mechanisms,
Hmm.
fault tolerance, so that if there is a deviation, you will get what we call as a haptic feedback.
Hmm.
In your iPhone, you would
Hmm.
often get haptic feedback. When you get a WhatsApp,
Hmm.
you find it vibrating.
Right.
You get that sensation when it's in your pocket. That is called haptics. That's
Hmm.
again an AI concept. The same haptic a doctor will feel if he deviates from the area of the surgery.
Hmm.
The robot will stop working. Now, this is the advantage.
Hmm.
Normal doctor, human doctor, may go outside and cut a nerve or a tissue, and that will cause more bleeding.
Right.
So, bleeding is reduced. The inpatient time inside a hospital
Hmm.
after surgery is reduced. Recently, in this institute, Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Science and Research, just 2 days back, a lady who had surgery in less than 48 hours was discharged, and she walked away from the after a cardiac illness. She's a lady in her late 20s,
Hmm.
right? This is the power of AI, right? It's not replacing the doctor. The doctor is very much there.
Hmm.
The patient is having a better experience. The cost of operation initially today, the affordability for robotics, the cost of consumables is definitely high. But if the overall patient experience is better, then I think AI is the way to go. So it was a great question on AI in healthcare. And I'm going to say that AI in healthcare is here to stay,
Hmm.
because we are also not today looking at our planet. We are talking about extraterrestrial travel. We are talking about astronauts spending 200 plus days. For some reason, they are there. Imagine what an astronaut do in an international space station.
Right.
They could have an app like this, which is actually enabling remote patient care for them. We call this remote patient monitoring. The last thing I want to tell you, there is a concept in AI called as interoperability. Today, hospitals are becoming smart, not just doctors or machines, which means entire hospital setup is interoperable. Machines are talking to each other.
Right.
So your BP machine, your cardiac ECG machine, all of these are integrating, and you can use AI as a platform to collate all of these messages and give a unified kind of a message or a system to the doctor and transparency to the patients.
Right.
So you will see, therefore, also connecting your previous question, AI is actually making the life of doctor better, more accurate in terms of procedures before surgery, during surgery. Also, the power of AI in diagnostics. Today, I can take a scan and then I have to wait with bated breath as to what is the problem. But AI can instantly predict. There are algorithms with around 85 to 90% accuracy. Still needs the doctor's validation, but it can predict what is the problem, where is the problem. So the job of the radiologist or doctor is reduced to a smaller scope. So pre-surgery or post-surgery, AI can be used as a diagnostic. But the most important and exciting part of AI is it can be used for preventive healthcare, preventive wellness. So, for example, we use smartwatches, looking at my respiratory rate, looking at my VO2 levels, looking at my resting heart rate, looking at the number of steps I'm taking, looking at my body mass index. AI can collate all of this and tell me that, Karthik, you're not walking enough. You need to climb more stairs. You're not sleeping enough. Today, the disease killer or the killer in cardiac is not because people are eating wrong, or not that people are not exercising enough. People are not sleeping enough.
Right.
And
Because of
to
the stressful, hectic
stressful
lifestyle,
lives,
right?
we are in a scrolling age, right? I'm sorry, you come from a media entertainment. I'm talking in a media studio. Scrolling is important. Social media is a very powerful tool, but not at the cost of reducing our sleeping hours.
Exactly.
And these affect our health parameters. Not AI affecting it. It's not the just a lifestyle disease of what you're eating.
Exactly. It's up to you what we are
Yes.
doing.
So AI can act as a reminder, saying that you've been sitting for too long. Most of our smartphones do this, right?
Right.
Or you can do what is called as continuous monitoring. Today, it is also AI is moved to hardware. I can have continuous glucose monitors. I can have continuous monitoring of my heart. And proactively, AI can be used to give you a preventive healthcare, which is also the goal of our company Pranic.ai, right? Lastly, AI in genomics is a very big thing. Can you believe, in our bodies, all of us watching this live, you and me and the cameraman sitting here, our genes are rewired and programmed already when we are born as to what is the disease which we are going to get, including things like addiction, including things like alcoholism, including things like anxiety, depression, autism. Everything is coded in the gene. We think that there are external triggers to this. We think that we get into certain habits which are, causing us certain diseases. Let me give an example of organ-wise things like fatty liver disease. We think it is related to diet, but if you're genetically prone to something, it is anyway going to happen.
Exactly.
There are a lot of smokers who are very healthy. Smoking is wrong. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying that certain habits are not the only things which trigger. Lifestyle is associated, but at a gene level today they are discovering, and AI is able to decipher the DNA, the genomic sequence to find out what you are prone to.
Wow.
And if I know, and I need to do this AI based genetic test only once. If I do that test once in my lifetime, I'll at least know what are the things I'm prone, including heart attacks. Can you believe heart attack is also there in your gene?
I
How
didn't
prone
know.
you are to heart attack. This is all new. I have been, as an expert in AI and medical science, discovering this, and our company Pranik is also getting into AI-based genomics. How can you decode? So, and how does the testing happen? So, Neha, earlier you had to go and it's very expensive test, take blood samples, but today my saliva can be used as a DNA. I can
Wow.
extract DNA from my saliva using AI. Within a day or so, I can tell you what all diseases you will be prone to, I'll be prone to. this is the power of, this is the future of healthcare. This is the
Wow.
future of AI driven health. A very long answer to your question, but I hope it was.
Yeah, we get a great idea
Yeah.
about it. Like we have also, you have mentioned about that,
Yes.
that AI is not taking the doctor's job. For
Yes.
example, if we talk about the pregnancy, right, delivery,
Yes.
we need doctor for that, for the
Yes.
normal delivery, the pain they can understand, not the AI, because they
Right.
don't have that procedure and for the things. And the things that you have mentioned about the old age people, like
Hmm.
we have our parents, we can't be with them all the time. We have
Correct.
we have AI to look
Yes.
after them.
Yes.
We are also feeling like great, okay, they are
Correct.
okay now, so we can be do our work. And also, I mean, that's a great thing, and I think viewers are watching this, they could also understand that, and that AI has a very bright future.
Yeah.
Exactly. And moving on to Arna and Pranik, right?
Hmm.
You just mentioned about Pranik. So can we also know about Arna?
Yeah. Arna is what we envision as a micro entrepreneur
Hmm.
platform, and we are looking to enable the creator-preneur economy, as our chairman talks about, Prasad Gundumogla, where the power of influencer marketing today, it's
Hmm.
way beyond that. It's actually connecting the creators and producers to the market access, right? So watch out this space, because many of these things are still in really, so it's too early for me to talk about. And in our company group we have
Hmm.
Kiran Chandra, who's the CEO, who is the president of Switcha Foundation. But we'll be, I'm sure, all of them will come here, we'll talk more about it.
Hmm.
But this is the future of micro entrepreneurship, right? So that's what Arna is. Pranik, this week there are going to be some major releases and launch. As I
Hmm.
said, it is accessible, affordable, available, democratized healthcare for everybody through the power of AI,
Hmm.
using mobile platform, using AI based avatars. And we are looking at expanding Pranik, as I said, into newer realms of genomics, preventive healthcare, all using the power of artificial intelligence.
Like that's
Yes.
very great to hear about it, about
Yes.
Pranik, right?
Yes.
And all the very best for that.
Yeah.
And again, if we talk about your, like you have a good, like you have such a good experience and a whole lot of experience.
Yes.
Like you have done you have done PhD in many firms and being an IIT and other
Yes.
institute. And if we talk about, you have worked with the big companies.
Yeah.
So what life lessons you have learned from them? Any life lessons that you wanted to share,
Yeah.
something like that?
No, again, absolutely a great question. In fact, my life lessons are not being learnt in the IITs, IIMs, or
Hmm.
the multiple PhDs I did. This is the 100th centenary year of a humanitarian leader called Sri Sathya Sai Baba. And world over is converging at Puttaparthi, where I learnt my greatest life lessons. And this is not just about spirituality, but
Hmm.
it is about, fundamentally, as human beings, my life lesson is that everything we got when we were born in this earth is actually free. I was reading an article yesterday where it said that the water which we drink is actually made of hydrogen and oxygen atoms, which are millions or billions of years old.
Hmm.
And it made me think, how is that true? Because I think I bought a fresh water of still water, or
Hmm.
sparkling water, or
Alkaline
Bisleri, or
water, this is
whatever,
like.
right? But how is it billions of years old?
Hmm.
But all of that which exists today is come from stardust, from galaxies, from
Right.
cosmic, right? Inherently, these are free. We did not pay for drinking water from a stream, right?
Right. The air we breathe is
The
also free.
air we breathe is also so old,
Exactly. The
so
land is that
ancient.
we are staying in is also
The
free.
soil we are
Hmm.
walking on. Do you and I realize, and the viewers realize, that we are actually sitting on a piece of huge rock or mass which we call as Mother Earth,
Hmm.
which is plummeting through space
Hmm.
at a great pace and at the same time rotating, right? Which is causing the day and night here. So all of these taught me, some great life lessons when I was doing my first MBA at Puttaparthi in the Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. And I want to dedicate this life lesson to my mentor Satyasai Baba, who is set up free healthcare, free rural access to water, free housing, free education. In fact,
Hmm.
my first MBA was at the world's first free university, which is the Sri Satsai Institute of Higher Learning. The reason I'm remembering is November 23rd is his birthday. The world is converging there. The greatest life lessons I learned while studying my MBA for free. In fact, the dress I wore was free, the food we ate was free.
Hmm.
We had professors from Harvard, Stanford, and we were like looking at, and we realized the greatest life lesson was that the best things in life actually are free, actually come free. There's no price tag
Hmm.
attached. There's no influencer required. There's no advertisement required,
Right.
right? Goodness does not need advertisement. Goodness is free. Kindness is free. Compassion is free. So, despite being an expert in technologies, doing all of these multiple degrees, like I have today 14 MBAs, executive programs of some of the best, like XLRI, ISB, INSEAD France, Mika, Ahmedabad.
Hmm.
But the point I realized after many people ask me, why did you do so much? Are you trying to learn newer life lessons like you learned in
Hmm.
your first MBA? No, the answer is not that. The more I learned, the greater I became aware that there is so much less I know.
Hmm.
My latest MBA was from Micah Ahmedabad. Since you come from a media marketing community, Micah is the mecca for marketing, communications, digital, and all of that.
Hmm.
I've been coming to the studio for long, so I said I'm very good at science, tech, MBA, PhD, but I've not done something on the, entire marketing comp side,
Right.
so Marcom side. So that's why I did. So there's so much to learn.
Hmm.
And when you go and study and you learn, you realize. I'm, looking at our conversation today,
Hmm.
interacting with you. I've learned so much. Right? You have opened new stuff.
The same
So the
here.
greatest life lesson, which my father used to tell me, and my great grandfather, who founded one of the oldest institutions in the country, BITS
Hmm.
Pilani in Rajasthan, they used to tell me, if you think you're ever great or achieve, walk into the airport or the railway station or a bus stand, or even just go to the nearby cafe. How many people know you? Right? I may be living in a false world thinking I have learned so much, I've earned so much, I've studied 23, 24 years of experience, lived in so many countries. But there's always something and somebody better than you.
Right.
Learning never stops.
Learning never stops, and
Right?
it should not
It
never
should
stop.
not stop. And the third life lesson is, I think, to be in an exploratory mode, to
Hmm.
be curious, right?
Right.
And to interact more. And the bottom line in all of this is what you said is leading with human touch, right? That is so important in all of this.
Exactly.
If I forget to be basically human, right?
Right.
And
What's
we're
the
living,
purpose then?
what's the purpose of
Right.
life? So these are some of the things which I've got deeply etched in my life, and I got my first MBA totally free of cost.
Wow.
Therefore, I go back with all of this knowledge, go back and help institutes like I mentioned, the Matsudan Sai Institute of Medical, which is the world's again only free rural medical college.
Hmm.
In fact, as we speak this week, hopefully we're going to see Prime Minister inaugurating, or this month, later this month, the world's largest free charitable hospital,
Wow.
right? So there are so many good people out there. There's so
Hmm.
much to learn. There's so much to know about and meet and to together grow with.
Right. To
I
be
think that
kind with
to be
people, to be
kind
like
with and
learn
yeah.
with
So
them.
I think those are some of the fundamental life lessons. And as I said, the best always comes free,
Right.
right? So it is always free. So if something is not free, then I'm not saying it's not good or it's something which is
Hmm.
bad, but we have to think about how we make it more accessible and affordable. Yeah.
That's great. Coming from an educational background, and you also have so much degrees and PhD with you. And if we talk about my generation, for example, youngsters, the Gen
Yes.
Z generation,
Yes.
so we have that thing in mind that we have that misconception. For
Hmm.
me, it is a misconception that stopping your education, like after 12th, you can do your own startup and be drop out of college and doing
Yes.
something like that. Being from an educational background, what do you think that education is it really very important to be intellectual, to know about industry, to know about life lessons?
Yeah.
According to you, like what is your point of view about this
Hmm.
thing?
You don't sound like a Gen Z when you ask. That's a very mature and very good question again. Say that, in fact, again, I'll take the quote of Sri Sathya Sai Baba.
Hmm.
He used to say the end of education is not learning or the degree, it's character, right? So, if at end of anything you learn, have you
Hmm.
become a better person, right? We look at the destination. In anything, there's a cliched statement, don't look at the destination, look at the journey. When you go through the journey of education,
You have that
you
experience.
have the experience,
Hmm.
but are you enjoying the experience? So one thing,
Right.
the reason I do so many degrees, right? There's a message to all Gen Zs that don't stop learning. The point is, there is so much to learn, but in the process of learning, enjoy that process. I get to meet so many new people from so many different backgrounds, make so many new friends,
Hmm.
and make so many new learnings from those people, right? It could be learning of culture, learning of country. So is education only meant for a mere living? No. The end of education is to make you a better person, either intellectually, character wise. When I
Hmm.
say character, it's again a very deep rooted word. It's not just about a personality trait. It's not about good and bad.
Right.
There are always shades of gray. Nobody is perfect. End of the day, we say we are human. We are prone to errors. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, the journey of life is complex. We'll have to navigate it. Education is a great tool. Is it good or bad? Is it right or wrong to go after your startup? No. I think our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, used to quote, and one of my favorite quotes is the dream is.
He's my one of my favorite. Like I got so much inspired from him. I wanted to meet him, but
Yes.
lastly,
Yeah. So in my MBA 20 years back in Puttaparthi, he came for the convocation.
hmm.
And he said two things. He said, dream is not what you see when you sleep. Dream is that which keeps you awake. So if a startup is what is actually keeping you awake, even in your 12th grade, right, and making you learn new things, that is the real education you're getting.
Right.
Education is not just your 12th standard mark sheet or a board exam, or it is not the engineering or undergrad program you're doing. I know I'm sitting also in a semi university environment. So, not to say that I'm undermining the role of education, qualification, degrees, but it is very important that we move beyond formal modes of education to these informal. Today, there are blended modes of education. No longer, in fact, in US, there's a company which has brought together Harvard and Stanford professors to create an entire MBA of a mobile app. We as a company in Arna are also trying to bring edtech into AI based generation, because today learning happens from watching a YouTube video. Learning sometimes happens through an Instagram post or a
Right.
Facebook. Just one image can teach you what multiple books cannot teach you.
Exactly. Even this podcast too.
Yes, this podcast too, right? So my point is, absolutely do what your heart tells. The greatest of Silicon Valley founders were sometimes college dropouts. So where did all that formal education?
Right.
In fact, one of the PhDs I'm guiding is for the former classmate of, excuse me, Sundar Pichai. His name is His Grace Gauranga Das Prabhu. So he made a LinkedIn post recently. He said that how he and Sundar Pichai were contemporaries in different IITs, and they both went to the US. One chose to become a monk, and he's still helping people with inner search.
Wow.
And Sundar Pichai, we all know, created Google Chrome browser. He's helping people with the external search.
Right.
And now in the space of Google Gemini and all of that. So my point to you, Neha, is that two people studied in the same institute of equivalence, one in IIT Mumbai, one in IIT Kharagpur, which
With
was
the
Sundar
same
Pichai,
mindset of
with the same
serving
mindset,
people.
in the same generation, but chose different paths.
Right.
But in their own way, they are helping. So somebody who's studying 12th standard, running a startup, somebody who's studying to become a doctor or engineer or lawyer or a businessman,
Right.
both are diverse paths. But you should do whatever that path is with passion. And that there's a difference, therefore, as I said, between education and learning. The learning could be immense in a startup. You
Right.
could be tons of years of experience. Not to say that it's not important to study and get. I think the balance is required. Yeah.
Right. So at last, like we have such an amazing conversation, and
Yes.
I don't want to end it, but we had to want to keep it very long.
Yes.
So at last, any message you would like to give to the youth, or any advice you would like to give them?
So the only advice I'd like to give to everybody is, chase your dream. Find your potential and fulfill whatever your purpose is. Right. So you see the greatest of startup founders, the greatest of humanitarian leaders like the ones I mentioned, the greatest of I'm a big fan of Dr. Sandeep Marwa. What he has achieved in this space, he's a pioneer in the film city. It was the largest and oldest film city, the first one in the country, right? I look at him as a leader and I ask him, sir, you get so many accolades, so many on doctorates, and you're continuously, there's no bar. But I see a man with a vision, a man with a purpose, a man who has compassion. There's so many examples like this around us, and therefore you'll have to find what is your life purpose. And Harvard Business Review again mentioned something about culture of an organization and quiddity of an organization. Quiddity in 2022 was defined as that intrinsic purpose or intrinsic drive which was motivating people in an organization to perform. So you will have to find out, you and I and all the viewers, if you have not already found out, will have to find out what is that life purpose, what is that higher thing you want to be. It need not be spiritual, it need not be something which keeps you awake, as our former president said. Chase it and fulfill that purpose. And I'll end with this quote again with what Sri Sat Sai Baba said, that he said, we always hear fight the devil, face the devil, and do not give up. Even to that supreme power, do not give up until that supreme power, you want to call it nature, you want to call it destiny, you want to call it God, whatever you want to, until that supreme force gives you what you want in life, do not give up.
Right.
Right? So never give up in life. Keep chasing. Today with AI, you have more time actually. There's more mind space because your mind is freed up of all the tasks
Right.
and get to the core of your creativity.
Right.
Thank you.
It's such an amazing conversation to have you
Yeah.
here with her. It's lovely meeting you again,
Yes.
and great conversation, like a very
Yeah.
insightful conversation about artificial intelligence, whether it's about healthcare, whether it's about travel company,
Yeah.
whether it's about the personal information or
Sure.
intellectual thoughts. Thank you so much for
Well,
coming
thank you,
here.
Neha, and thank you once again to Marva Studios and all the crew behind the camera, as well as once again Dr. Sai. It's always a pleasure to come here, and I want to just say this last final word that
Sure.
whatever I speak on mic or podcast always becomes a reality. So my nirvana or turning point is coming and doing a podcast here because
Right.
that vision becomes a reality. And I must compliment you that this has been one of the best podcasts I've done in the
Thank you so much,
studio.
sir.
Very insightful questions. Godspeed and good luck to you
Thanks so
and
much,
all
sir.
of your students because I heard that you have also become a faculty here. So all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching this episode. We'll be back with another episode.